getting the win on me, and I'm sitting there the whole time going, China, China, China. I'm trying to do it again and again. So then it becomes, so you don't think about it, you just do
I'm shocked by that because I figured it was something you'd been doing.
Oh, that's what I should say. I worked on it for months.
And well, no, it's even more impressive that it wasn't in your
I didn't
wheelhouse
really know. I didn't really know.
with.
But there's a guy,
Holocaust Remembrance Day, and as you know, 6 million people were at my inauguration. I mean, there were just so many people at my inauguration, but the media refuses to cover it. It's so unfair. And one day I'm going to write a memoir about this struggle and call it My Struggle.
There's a special kind of chaos that happens when Jimmy Kimmel and Alec Baldwin end up talking about Donald Trump on the same timeline. One is a late-night comic with a scalpel, slicing through political nonsense with a smirk. The other is an actor who built a caricature so sharp that even Trump couldn't look away. Together, they've turned Trump's ego into their favorite recurring character, and he's never forgiven them for it. Every time Kimmel exposes a new Trump hypocrisy, or Baldwin slips back into that orange mask of arrogance,
I want you to know, sometimes when I watch you striding across the White House lawn so confidently, with so much masculinity, I'll admit it, I get sexually aroused. Thank you for breathing life back into my once slumbering penis.
That was very well stated, listen.
A handful of Republicans are siding with Democrats to force it. They want to see it all. They want to know who Jeffrey Epstein's friends are, which I have to say, I know who one of them is. He looks like this. The guy, that husky one in the pink tie on the, yes.
Trump takes the bait, lashes out, and proves every joke right in real time. Let's start with Jimmy Kimmel, the man Trump once called the least funny person on TV. That insult came right after Kimmel hosted the Oscars in 2017 and turned Hollywood's biggest night into a roast of the brand new president. Remember when Kimmel pretended to tweet at Trump live on air? Hey, a real Donald Trump, you up? It wasn't just a joke, it was bait. And Trump bit hard. He couldn't stand the laughter. For days, he ranted about Kimmel's ratings and the Oscars' disaster.
Disconnect, it's impossible. You can't turn him off. He won't power down. He's like Ultron. He just keeps going. Every day, it's something crazier than the next. I made a list. This is all in the last 2 months. I made you a quick list. I will run through it. He paved over the Rose Garden. He's building a golden ballroom at the White House. He's planning a UFC fight at the White House. He cut off Kamala Harris's Secret Service protection. He named himself host of the Kennedy Center honors.
It's almost unfair the way comedy aligns.
Who's on the internet, it's interesting how there are people who, now that he's not going to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, there are people who are lobbying to play Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
You are not one of those people?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm not lobbying, but I mean, people would say, would you do it? And there's a couple guys on the internet who are like, no, please, I'm the only man.
What Trump never realized is that every angry tweet he fired off was free advertising. Millions more tuned in the next night just to see Kimmel's response. Then came the moment that turned late-night monologue into a national conversation, the Kimmel test. After his newborn son needed emergency heart surgery, Kimmel used his platform to demand that any healthcare bill pass one simple test. No family should lose care because they can't afford it. It was raw, honest, and unfiltered.
President who saved us from ourselves by calling in the National Guard to stop a conflict that never started but could have, had he not acted to prevent an entirely fabricated crisis from spinning out of his imagination and onto our streets. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for sending troops to occupy all of these Democrat-run cities, whether we want them or not, and we do not. You know, after his big successes stopping nothing.
And when Trump and his allies tried to repeal protections for pre-existing conditions, Kimmel took the gloves off. He dismantled Trump's talking points line by line. You can say you care about families, he told the camera, but your bill says otherwise. The clip went viral, policy writers cited it, and suddenly every senator had to answer the question, would their vote pass the Kimmel test? Through the years, Kimmel has been Trump's persistent nightmare in a suit.
Bend over for Putin. He sent military tanks into Washington, D.C. He said the Smithsonian focuses too much on how bad slavery was. He called India and Norway to tell them to nominate him for a Nobel Prize. And he cut off funding for pediatric brain cancer research for children. You would think a person who himself has the brain of a child would be in favor of funding pediatric brain carriers.
Serious private conversation between 3 friends plus 50 reporters with cameras. I'm proud to welcome Kanye West, Yeezus, Yandi, Yadam, Yosain, an amazing guy. Thank you for coming, Kanye.
Yeah, that's right. I flew here using the power of this hat.
When Trump bragged about crowd sizes, Kimmel aired side-by-side photos that exposed the lie. When Trump brandished a hurricane map doctored with a Sharpie, Kimmel called it the world's first self-own in permanent marker. During the pandemic, he fact-checked Trump's bleach comments with a straight face and a bottle of Lysol. And when Trump lost the 2020 election, Kimmel mocked the conspiracy theories as the first case in history where losing is considered winning.
Oh,
We should
yeah.
play Trump.
Yeah, no.
And they're really there's like a lot of Trump competition. I
You
got
own
sucked
it.
into this.
No one will top you on
Well,
this.
tell these guys
Yeah,
this.
well,
Until they
don't-
say I suck.
Nobody even knows who these guys are. Don't worry about it.
I
You
can't say
suck.
bad words
That's
because I gave it up for Lent. But
Yeah.
but this one guy's lobbying.
It should
Good
be
job.
whoever the president hates seeing do it the most, and that's undoubtedly you.
I say so.
Wouldn't you love to be in that room with him, watching you do him, and how mad that must make him?
Well, I mean, it's like, to me, it's like when people say to me, what was your whole gag? And you know as well as I do, because you're very funny, that you can kind of suggest the voice or suggest the way they look, but you got to try to think of who he is.
Here and in Washington, Trump is sending the National Guard now into Portland and Chicago. He's sending the Texas National Guard into Chicago, all dressed in camouflage, by the way. And I want to say, I know you're from Texas, guys. Camouflage will not help you blend in Chicago. You would be better off dressed as kielbasa in Chicago. Illinois state and local officials strongly opposed troops being sent into the Windy City. President Trump responded to that by calling for the governor and mayor to be jailed. That's a normal thing for presidents to do, right?
The pattern never changed. Trump lied, Kimmel laughed, and the laughter hurt more than any headline ever could. And then there's Alec Baldwin, the man who literally became Trump's reflection in America's funhouse mirror. When Baldwin debuted his Trump impersonation on Saturday Night Live during the 2016 debates, the voice, the sniffs, the pout, all of it landed like a cultural thunderclap.
Oh, that's okay. He can have my tune.
Okay, Mr. Trump, 2 more minutes.
The thing about the blacks is that they're killing each other.
He hasn't released his tax returns, which means he's either not that rich,
Wrong.
not that charitable,
Wrong.
or he's never paid taxes in his life.
Warmer. I have a fantastic relationship with Mexico, okay? I have personally met with the Mexican president. I forget his name. I think it was something like Mr. Guacamole. I'm sorry, excuse me, Senor Guacamole. I also met his beautiful wife, Taquito.
Trump tweeted that Baldwin's portrayal was unwatchable, which instantly guaranteed everyone would watch it. Over 4 years, Baldwin's Trump grew into a character study of vanity, insecurity, and absurdity. He didn't invent those traits. He just turned up the volume so no one could pretend not to hear them. One of Baldwin's most famous cold opens came right after the Access Hollywood tape. As the world replayed Trump's locker room talk excuse, Baldwin reenacted the damage control, muttering about ratings and grabbing the women by the pole.
Brazenly pulled Epstein's wing woman, his personal madam, Ghislaine Maxwell, out of real prison last month and transferred her into what is basically a courtyard by Marriott. The woman who has all the information on everyone is suddenly in a prison that has Pilates class, thanks to President Trump, and nobody bats an eye about this.
Kimmel especially loves pointing out how Trump constantly tries to rewrite reality as though repetition will make his version true. It's the magician's trick that never works, because the rabbit he's pulling out of the hat is always a possum in disguise.
When Trump tried to downplay white supremacists in Charlottesville, Baldwin's SNL sketches echoed the outrage, exposing the cruelty hidden behind Trump's both sides defense. When the Cove Fife tweet broke the internet, Baldwin's Trump wandered the Oval Office mumbling about the deep state conspiring against his spell check. But Baldwin's satire was never just about laughter. It was about holding up a mirror. In one episode, his Trump called Putin for advice, praising him like a fanboy.
Juan is on the line.
I was expecting this phone call. Sure, she wants to tell me what a great job I'm doing. Yes, Mayor, you wanted to talk to me?
Yes, Mr. President, I'm so glad to have you on the phone. I'm begging you. Puerto Rico needs your help.
I hear you loud and clear, and you called the best person for the job. Trust me, I know things are, as the locals say, despacito. We're going to get you more help to you. We'll get you immediately, probably by Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest.
Mr. President, that's not good enough.
Well, you should have paid your bill.
The line, "I love you, Vlad," got a laugh, but it also captured what political analysts would spend months trying to explain. That's the secret to Baldwin's portrayal. He made the behavior impossible to ignore. Every time real Trump bragged about SNL's ratings while complaining about the sketch, he proved Baldwin's point, that he cared more about the show than the state of the nation. Even Baldwin's real-life award speeches turned into subtle Trump eviscerations.
Trump warmed up for his date with the British press by yelling at a reporter from Australia who dared to ask about the billions of dollars he's been raking in since the election.
President Trump said a president in office should be engaged in so much business activity.
Well, I'm really not. My kids are running the business. I'm here. You know what the activity, where are you from?
I'm from the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Four Corners Program.
Well, the Australians, you're hurting Australia, right? In my opinion, you are hurting Australia very much right now. And they want to get along with me. You know, your leader is coming over to see me very soon. I'm going to tell him about you. You set a very bad tone. Go ahead, John.
What a little...
Mr. Trump, this leaked audio showed you saying, you know, I can't quite say it on live television, but basically, you said you wanted to
Grab them by the pussy. Martha, this black man is attacking me. Also, speaking of black men, you know who else should be in jail? Hillary Clinton. She's committed so many crimes. She's basically a black.
When he won an Emmy for the role, he opened with, "At long last, we have a president who believes in the arts." It was a dig so dry it could have started a desert, and the audience roared. Trump reportedly fumed about the Emmys again, the same awards he'd failed to win for The Apprentice. You can't make this stuff up, the jokes write themselves. And here's where Jimmy Kimmel and Alec Baldwin's worlds overlap. Every time Baldwin appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live, the two would riff on the psychology behind Trump's tantrum.
Just yesterday, there's this video of what seemed to be garbage bags being thrown out of the window of the Lincoln bedroom. That's the White House. The official response from the White House said it was maintenance work being done while Trump was off on one of his many golf weekends. But Trump is even contradicting his own White House now.
There's a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the residence upstairs and somebody is throwing a big bag out the window. Have you seen this?
No, that's probably
I've turned over all my businesses to my two sons, Beavis and Butthead. They're here today. Can we get a shot of them? Shot of them? Look at those two little American psychos. Martha, she is trying to silence these women, but they need to be respected. They need their voices heard.
Kimmel would play a clip of Trump yelling about SNL being rigged, and Baldwin would explain the secret behind the impression: the lips pushed out just so, the breathing shallow, the posture insecure. The audience laughed, but Baldwin was basically giving a masterclass in demagoguery, how a man performs confidence to mask emptiness. Their joint appearances felt like therapy for the rest of the country. Baldwin brought the performance, Kimmel brought the receipts. Together, they mapped Trump's greatest hits.
Today, some of the Epstein and Maxwell victims held a press conference on the steps of the Capitol to demand the release of the files and to announce that they are making their own list of men who assaulted them to release. You know, they were scared, and they're so scared to release the names, but now they have an unlikely ally from inside MAGA.
I also encouraged him already this morning that he should have these women in the Oval Office. They deserve to be there.
You spoke to him?
Yes, I did. And I told him I'd be happy to set that up, arranging with their attorney by sharing his phone number.
What was his reaction about?
I haven't got an answer back.
I'm sure he'll get back to you on that very, very soon. You see that?
The self-pity, the victimhood, the desperate need for applause. And every time Trump fired back on social media, he turned satire into evidence. You could practically hear Kimmel smirking. He's watching again. Kimmel's gift is how he packages the absurdity in facts. He doesn't just make fun, he documents. When Trump claimed voter fraud, Kimmel ran the clips, quoted the lawsuits, and then punctured the nonsense with a joke so clean.
This campaign to own the libs and deport everybody with a vowel at the end of their name is the passion project of a sick, bald individual named Stephen Miller. He is Trump's deputy chief of staff, and he is doing everything he can to turn this country into a militarized zone.
Well, the administration filed an appeal this morning with the Ninth Circuit. I would note the administration won an identical case in the Ninth Circuit just a few months ago with respect to the federalizing of the California National Guard. Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
Stephen? Stephen? Hey, Stephen, can you hear me?
Sometimes the batteries on dildos run out.
You almost missed how precise it was. That's why his monologues matter. They function like nightly truth reports wrapped in comedy. He once said, "If the president's angry at me, I must be doing something right." It's not bravado, it's accountability with a punchline. Meanwhile, Baldwin's SNL Trump became the archetype that outlived the presidency. Even people who avoided politics knew the caricature. The pursed lips, the tiny hand gestures, the toddler tantrum tone. You could say Baldwin did what no political scientist could. He condensed an entire presidency into an impression. It was art, parody, and public record all at once.
What about all the women accusing you of sexual assault?
They need to shut the hell up. Every day I turn on the news and all of the newscasters are making me look so bad.
And how are we doing that?
By taking all of the things I say and all of the things I do and putting them on TV. She's the one with the bad temperament. She's always screaming, she's constantly lying, her hair is crazy, her face is completely orange, except around the eyes where it's white. And when she stops talking, her mouth looks like a tiny little butthole.
Who was arrested? I wish him luck.
And Trump hated it because he recognized himself in it. There's also the human irony running through all this. Kimmel, Baldwin, and Trump were all TV men. They all understood performance, but only one of them confused performance with reality. Kimmel and Baldwin saw through the act. Trump believed the act was real. That's why their satire hits so hard. It isn't about politics, it's about truth versus theater. What makes this feud fascinating is that it keeps writing itself.
Have you spoken to Billy Bush at all?
I have not. I've always liked Billy, but I have not.
Any message you'd like to send to him?
No, I think it's too bad what they did, but I've always found Billy to be a good guy.
When you were on Jimmy Kimmel, you told Mario that you would love Alec to play you. And then I interviewed Alec, and Alec said he's playing you to make your dream come true, is what he said.
Okay, well.
What do you think of his portrayal? And do you have a message for Alec?
Well, I think I'm a much nicer guy than he's portraying.
In 2024, Kimmel mocked Trump's legal troubles, reading out his indictment counts like bingo numbers. If you're playing at home, he joked, that's obstruction, falsifying, and attempting to overthrow democracy, all in one weekend. Baldwin, even while pulling back from regular SNL appearances, still drops commentary calling Trump the Emperor of Insecurity. The script may evolve, but the theme stays the same: insecurity masquerading as power. Let's be real, Trump has built an empire of grievance.
I actually heard the aliens are already here. They've been hiding in this country for hundreds of years. It's a fact. They're shapeshifters. They look like regular people, but they're aliens. Look, there's one right there.
What? I am not an alien.
Yes, she is, and so is the woman next to her right there.
And Kimmel and Baldwin have turned that empire into a comedy goldmine. But underneath the laughter is a warning label, because what they expose isn't just one man's ego, it's how fragile truth becomes when ego runs the country. Their humor works because it's verifiable. Everything they joke about, the tweets, the lies, the indictments, the feuds, comes straight from Trump's public record. This isn't gossip, it's history with punchlines. And if you've noticed, every time Trump attacks them, they win.
He's portraying somebody who's very mean and nasty, and I'm not mean and nasty. I think I'm a much nicer person than he's portraying, and so I think it's an inaccurate portrayal of me.
Would you ever go back to SNL? I heard rumors that you might go back.
They want me to go back. No, I'm not interested in going back. No, I'd just like to have it. Look, I can speak my mind, and I say it. I think they're making me out to be a very mean, bad kind of a guy, and that's not me.
Some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to America Facticity for more deep dives that blend humor, politics, and receipts. If you're scrolling on Instagram, hit follow and share this with someone who still needs reminding that satire can be patriotic. Because at the end of the day, Kimmel and Baldwin aren't just roasting a man, they're defending a fact-based America, one punchline at a time,